Hello there, I'm Turin, and I've just spent 10 hours in Palworld. Oh well, okay, I'm lying. I've spent more time than that, but this recording was 10 hours, and now I'm heavily addicted, because this game's incredibly good. It's everything we ever wanted from a Pokemon game, plus more. Like, shooting stuff in the face with guns, and as you can see here, there's, one of them's got a Gatling gun. That happens. Palworld combines everything you might like about survival games like Minecraft with elements of Pokemon. Not the rock, paper, scissors kind of Pokemon battling that you're used to, but real live world battles where you shoot stuff in the face with crossbows and guns, and green monkeys shoot stuff with machine guns. You build bases, you farm crops, you make beds, you build houses, you get raided by wild pals that want to eat you. It's dynamic, it's fun, I was impressed by it. You should definitely try this out, it's well worth the money, it absolutely kicks Pokemon in the Pokeballs. As I got into the game, I was immediately impressed by the character customization menu. You can name yourself and pick from loads of different faces. This beard one is epic. I was able to craft myself the exact type of character I wanted, matching my own avatar, and I was off. I got woken up by a bunch of weirdos on a beach. Lovely cinematic opening. Very simple storytelling. You land on a beach, and a tablet tells you that the towers are the key. No old man giving you the choice of 3 different monsters trapped in bowls, but instead, you're just damn near naked and you've got to figure out what's going on. And that I did. I did figure out what was going on. It was very intuitive. After I finished looking at myself a lot, because I looked really cool like a Dragon Ball Z character, I began building things. And the game really is intuitive. Like, I really understood what I was doing. I didn't really feel lost at any point. Everything felt satisfying to do. I started mining, I started hacking at trees, I started smacking chickens in the face and capturing them and putting them in bowls. Very, very satisfying capture system. I started cooking. I realized there was some Breath of the Wild elements to this, as there was like a temperature system where you had to dress warmer or at least be near a fire. I then learn how to build a base. I construct one of these like PAL PCs that houses all of your PAL buddies. From this terminal you can decide who's on your team and who's going to be working the base for you. And you get upgrades, you get little missions to upgrade the base where you must construct things. It helps you structure how to play the game. I bit off more than I can chew, fighting much more difficult enemies in the area. But I would come back and get them later, because these guys are actually really good pals. Great naming device to call these creatures pals. Ingenious. I crafted myself a cloth outfit to deal with that cold, and found out that even low-level clothing in this game gives you excellent drip. Got a bow and started shooting chickens, murdering chickens on the daily. Got this from the level up system that allows you to invest technology points into things, and then you build them. Got myself into some farming. You can assign pals to do this later, but I took to it myself. This is essentially how you feed everybody on your base. Came across a big Dino Blossom thing and did not try to fight it because I did not want to get stomped at this moment, so I just picked on sheep instead. Did not want to start a fight with that. Carried on building the base up in these castle ruins. Probably should have stayed up here because the base I built next was kind of stupid. Not that anything bad happened, but this was definitely a better position. Built this statue of what looked like Lucario, pimped out. I found this giant mammoth. I shot it in the face during the night and it one-shot my chicken. I wasn't going to make that mistake again. Some point I will capture that mammoth, but it would not be today. So here's that talent system I mentioned. Many good things come from the talent system. This is how you get all your new tech and special abilities for your pals. I then decided to finally have a pop at this big green bugger that was hanging around, and promptly got my face smashed into the ground. Definitely need this guy for the area boss. Very, very tanky pal that comes in handy for the area boss. So when you can eventually get it, when you're level appropriate, about level, around the same level as it, come back and get it. It's not too far for you to travel. It's an awesome pal. Down I go! I started to really get into building the base, and I was really amazed by how you could have like a fire type cook your food for you. You could have a grass type do your farming for you. The base started to take flight. Trust me, there's a lot to bases. I enjoyed that a lot. So I had to pick on one of these things so I could ride on it at some point, because this was like a riding pal. They were just grazing around the base, so hey-ho. Helps when your entire base will attack anything that's in radius of it as well. This thing didn't stand a chance, but I did manage to capture it. I then committed a crime by trying to traffic humans. I failed to capture this poor individual and murdered them. And then just felt the full force of the law as the popo came out of the trees to get me instantly. I managed to escape, but still, there's a price for trying to traffic in humans in this game, even though you can do it. I succeeded in doing it later. So the base started to come together. I spent a lot of time grinding in the base, and I wanted to build my little guys a spa to hang out in. Here they are chopping wood, making food for themselves, and we took a stroll along the beach and found ourselves a dungeon. There's a dungeon system in this. There's caves randomly all over the place. Lots of enemies in them, and you can get to a boss at the end. Capture said boss if you get there. I have my sights on something different as I finally captured myself some human. These syndicate fellas are involved in the surrounding area. I was able to beat him up and put him in a Palworld. I eventually captured 2 of these guys, and they still work in my base to this day. I got very lost in this cave system, but it was still quite interesting to do anyway. The boss tends to change. I think it's random, but we're fighting a Daydream. You may notice I've got 2 of them floating around with me. That's because of Daydream's unique ability, which is a trinket or charm or something that you build for it, which then allows whatever number of them you've got in your party to actually fight in tandem with you while you've got a different pal toggled. Here you can see them floating around with me again. It's just a bit of extra firepower. They don't have HP and they just shoot like 1 basic attack. It's quite nifty. Here you can see we've got lots of berries. The food supply was going well on the camp. And speaking of crafting for special abilities, I got this Melpacker? What are these things called? You know what it is, like a llama. I started riding it, okay? It was handy for getting around. And my human was busy making arrows for me, so they got put to work. And I decided to have a pop at the area boss to see what it was all about. The Rain Syndicate Tower. It loomed in the distance. I'm sure I had footage of it. I didn't use it though. Go there yourself. Then we got this awesome cutscene where this boss came along with a big yellow boy. Very cool character design on this character. Boy, would I like to look like them. Wicked boss battle. You have a 10-minute timer on it to take it down because you can sort of kite it around. It's not incredibly difficult. You can be level 12 when you come in here, but my problem was firepower. And I also wasn't using the right team setup for this as well. You need to have ground pals with you, or pals that do ground attacks. I stood still here and got shot like a pro, trying to mount my llama. Not a good idea. Not a good tactic for this boss, trying to ride around while it shoots electricity at you. Go figure. Despite a very good first attempt where I experimented with the boss, we did not win. And I had a few other failed attempts as well, trying to take it down. Back at the base, we finally had a tub to hang out in. All was well at the base, everyone was happy. And I experienced my first raid. At least I think it was my first raid, I don't remember. It was not very long, it didn't last a long time. I spent more time equipping what I wanted to use to fight than actually getting involved in the fight. But these can happen fairly randomly. Generally, I haven't had a raid that's really raffle-stomped me yet, but this was an awkward positioned base, so I decided to correct that base later on. Here's another raid we had. It's kind of straightforward to deal with. They don't happen unless you're at the base, as far as I know, so that's helpful. Definitely don't AFK though, because you will get raided while you're AFK. They don't happen all that frequently as well, they're quite easy to manage. Can often give you a really good opportunity to catch pals that you haven't seen before, or you know, just murder them into the ground like that. Back to pal abilities, I caught one of these lovely purple deer thingamajiggers, and it had the special ability to let me ride it once I crafted it a saddle. Yes, we yeeted pals around with its special abilities. And yeah, here's that green monkey with the machine gun for a special ability. amazing. I don't know how effective this ability is. I've yet to test it on a real damage sponge, but it is hilarious. I also discovered that shinies in this game are basically bigger versions of pals, and they have better abilities. This one ended up being a mainstay in my camp, very good at helping us out. Look at it go, look at it spin. And here it is in the camp, helping me build a bed. He's a big boy. Found one of these unusual trees. This is how you can gain new abilities for your pals. It's almost like a devil fruit tree. All different abilities growing off of it that you can give to different pals. They are scattered across the map all over the place. I like the nod to One Piece with this. I don't know if it was deliberate or not, but it felt like it. I then scouted out a place that I would go ahead and build a very successful base in the future. I didn't know it at the moment, but this was going to be the spot of my best base so far. Utilizing the castle walls. After roaming around trying to level up and getting beaten up a lot, I discovered pelt armor, which looked amazing. And I would wear it for some time. Great HP boost and looked cool as hell on me. I eventually got myself a crossbow from the tech menu, and this was a huge upgrade. Got my big old sheep buddy to help me finish this up. Look at the damage difference. 280 on the crossbow, 65 on the bow. One hell of an upgrade. You might not necessarily need this to beat the boss, but it helped me out. I started doing chunks of damage on this guy. And playing better as well. As you can see, I've got an electric type there that's resistant to Grisbolt's damage, but also it has ground attacks as well that it starts using at different points. Yeeting your pals around using your return ability is actually really helpful. And yeah, we decked the boss. We beat it. Equipped with the right team and the right weapon. You get teleported to the top of the tower. Kind of a victory thing. And yeah, that was my first 10 hours in Palworld. There was so much to it. But yeah, I adored this game. I did so much stuff in my first 10 hours of playing. A lot of it was grinding stuff. The kind of stuff that's not visually interesting, but is like fun to do, satisfying to do. And I moved on to do a lot more with the game. I'm still playing it. I'm still addicted to it. I can't recommend it to you enough. There is so much to do in this game. It's huge. I couldn't possibly show it all to you with just 10 hours of gameplay. Look at the stuff you can do in this game. Give it a go. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. It's a heck of a game. Backed up by the fact that it sold 6 million copies in under a week. It's crazy. Top streamers are playing it. Everybody's talking about it. Go and get a slice of that Palworld action for yourself.
Remember to subscribe and like this video.